True Dominican, I really think we could make it. But as a people, we have to learn to commit. Journey ahead will never be smooth and sweet. But as an ambitious nation, we have to be upbeat. I know we have done it before, so we can do it again. All depend we endured, but pride we have to maintain in order to create a better world. Every living soul has to play their role. We have an opportunity to change things around, an opportunity to change things, an opportunity to make Dominica strong. We have an opportunity to change things around, an opportunity to change things, an opportunity to make Dominica strong. We got to stamp out the devil, stamp them out, stamp out the evil, stamp them out. Jealousy, not by me, certainly. We got to stamp out greediness, stamp them out, stamp out wickedness. Jealousy, not by me, certainly. Tomorrow is the first day. The rest of our lives, let's make tomorrow the first day of the rest of our life. We have an opportunity to change things around, an opportunity to change things, an opportunity to make our country strong. Change, change.
All right, let me say a special greetings and welcome to all of you locked into the space at this time. The name of the program is Civic Vibes. It is just about 5 minutes past the hour of 6 o'clock in Dominica and the region in which we live. So all of you who are here, welcome, welcome, welcome. Those of you further afield, welcome on board as well. Thank you very, very much indeed. We're going to have this evening a very, very interesting program. A matter of fact, this October, basically, we are celebrating our independence from Great Britain. And so all Dominicans should be very, very proud of this time indeed. And so we here at Civic Vibes has basically dedicated the entire month of October to bring you all the programs culturally oriented in mind. So this evening, we have a very packed program, a very interesting program, a very informative one lined up for you guys. So all we ask at this time is that you make yourself feel very, very comfortable indeed so that you can participate in the program that we have geared up for you. First up, we're going to talk to a cultural elder. I call him a cultural icon in the business. That is none other than Mr. Gregory Rabes. Yes, indeed. We all know when Mr. Gregory Rabes is here, we learn something about Dominica indeed. And so stay tuned for that conversation up next in just a bit. The second leg of this program basically is a continuation from where we'll be logging off with Brother Rabes. We have none other than Mr. Derek Ra Peters in the house with us. Well, I call the brother the pioneer in the Bouyon business in Dominica. Of late, we have been having many, many conversations about Bouyon and its impact on our culture. And so who better than Mr. Peters, that is Ra, to bring us that kind of conversation, culturally minded indeed. So yes, these two esteemed brothers from Dominica, they will share their experience, they will share their knowledge, and trust me, you will learn something at the end of this exercise. So folks, as I said before, please be very, very comfortable. If you have to take that all-important break, now is the time to do that, because when we start off, then you wouldn't have that time indeed. Without much further ado, let me move across to Alvin Thomas and say a big hi and hello. Alvin, how are you, my brother?
Yes, good afternoon, Lofty. Good evening.
Alvin, for some reason, I really cannot hear you. We really cannot hear you at this time. So you may want to try to rectify that problem. And yes, I'll be getting back to you in just a while. Whilst you do that, Alvin, let me move across and say a special good afternoon to Brother Gregory Rabes. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Man, wash la la stuff.
Wash la la ila.
Yeah. Well, allez garder pour chouiller pour faire un petit bail là et puis dit à moi, dit gingembre, moi yo dit gingembre là ka chen mes compagnie. Pour le temps nous ka discuter quoi.
Okay, ça bon, ça bon, ça bon.
For people who don't understand English, I am there just swizzling my cup of ginger to keep me company for the next hour or so when I'll be I mean, I suppose the main interviewee. Look, me say bye, like a party one. So my son nom Creole. Hey, let's go. Wash lale.
Wash lala. Ça coûte wash la pour ça.
Well, I've been, I have had some health issues and all of that story, but I'm getting better. My eyesight is needs to be worked on. I am not seeing very well. I can hardly read now. I'm struggling to use the telephone to push the right buttons and all of that. But I still
You're still there. You're still there. Well, brother, that comes with the territory. But once you're there, I mean to say you will speak to us this afternoon, not from the eyesight really, but from your experience indeed. And that is what I know you will be relying on for the better part of the program here. Yes?
Righty, sure.
Righty. Alvin, let us go back to you. See if you are.
Yeah, does it sound better now, Lofty?
Yes, go right on.
Okay. I do apologize. Let me say good evening to everyone and to you, Lofty, and to our many folks who have already logged in. There were two esteemed guests, the brother Gregory Rabes. I know that brother goes way, way back. And his younger brother, Sinky Rabes. And I were good buddies. And Ra Peters, Derek Ra Peters, that's a T-boy Wozo. No live a Wozo Assam. Derek in Kings Lane, there and in Fields Lane, the two lanes. So, me say Bogozo, no connect on a lot. So it's a pleasure to be there. Today, of course, as I'm sure Gregory and Ra knows, it's supposed to be Heritage Day in Dominica. And it's ironical that we're having that show on Heritage Day. Today's also Feast Gerard. That's St. Joseph Feast. As you know, Dominica is noted for many, many, many feasts. Every village has a feast. So yeah, we have Calaga, we have Warrington, Ivanio Joseph, SD Valentine, Dorival Drigo, Owen Prosper, James Stephen. So we have a bunch of folks that have already logged in. So sit back, relax, and let's have a great conversation.
Yes, indeed. Alvin, thank you for your opening salvo here, as it were. Again, let me say a special greetings and welcome to all of you on the live feed at this time, as Alvin alluded to earlier. The numbers to call into the program sometime later, I'll be plugging that in the live feed so that you can participate. You can ask a question, make a comment. The numbers are 245-2396 or 615-9470. Again, I repeat, these numbers, 245-2396 or 615-9470 indeed. Let us go right into the meat of things. It's already 10 past the hour of 6 o'clock. Let us start off the conversation with Brother Rabes. Indeed, as you know, as I said, he's a cultural icon in Dominica. So he's going to give us a bit of history, a bit of why we do what we do, when we do, why we do, that kind of thing about our cultural and heritage celebrations here in Dominica. Sometime later on, about the 7 o'clock mark, Brother Ra will chime into the conversation and basically deal more or less with the musical part of the engagement we'll be having here, especially where Bouyon is concerned. That is Ra's thing. And so who better to talk about the impact that type of music has had on our cultural events in Dominica indeed. So yes, stay tuned. Be very, very relaxed indeed. Brother Rabes, good evening to you again. In terms of the conversation to come, brother, just where do you want to start off the conversation this evening as we celebrate another year of independence, 46, that is?
Well, I mean, you can put a little bone in the callaloo, a little zoo in the callaloo. You have to tell me what you want to know, because I mean, I have so much that I can share. So in order to help me focus and help us focus, you might want to give me a little point. we're looking at Heritage Day, we're looking at Creole and in all its dimensions and all of that. So maybe we could start with Heritage Day and Cement Creole
Yes,
and Creole
indeed,
vibe.
indeed. Let us start there. Tell us something about that sort of celebration in Dominica. Why we do what we do.
Okay, well, essentially, I mean, we can go all the way back to Edward Oliver LeBlanc back in the days when Dominica was moving from colonial status to independence, but we had to go through a sort of a period of transition, and we went through what we call autonomy. So we no longer had we had responsibility for internal affairs, and then England, the mother country, still had responsibility for foreign affairs and defense. How may and then about 1978, we moved. Well, we had moved about 2 years later. Earlier, sorry, towards like independence. The Salisbury Declaration, all of that history under the leadership of Patrick John. So the process started under LeBlanc, and then for what we call autonomy, internal self-government, and then much later, Patrick John led us to political independence. So that's like the backdrop. So now, LeBlanc, when he set us on the path to associated statehood and all of that, along with that, he basically recommended and organized the government that is under his leadership, what we call cultural celebrations, a lot of the traditional dances, all the folks, the ballet groups, the quadrille groups, Jingping bands from the countryside, rural parts of Dominica, converged on the Botanic Gardens in Roseau. That is where these events were first held, in the gardens. I remember I was in high school, in academy at the time. When I went to these first events, I was probably about 12 or 13 years old, young. But I can remember those things very, very, very vividly. Anyway, so that is sort of like the backdrop to what we're doing today. When we became full-fledged independence in 1981, some of us got together under leadership and guidance of Chief Cultural Officer at the time, Alwyn Bully, Dr. Alwyn Bully, the late, the Creole Committee, the KEC, was formed. It was actually convened. The first meeting of KEC was convened on the first sorry, my I have to go back in time. It's June, right? The 1st of June. That was when KEC was actually established. A couple of months before that, the Creole might say the cadres or the activists from St. Lucia and Dominica met in St. Lucia with the guidance of the Creole researchers and experts and professors from Martinique and Guadeloupe. We established the orthography, the alphabet, the Creole alphabet, the way to write the ABCD and all of that in Creole and to write the words. So all that was done at this conference in St. Lucia. And then a decision was taken to form and establish Creole committees in Dominica and St. Lucia as well. So on the 1st of June, under the guidance of Alwyn Bully, the late Chief Cultural Officer at the time, KEC, the Creole Committee, Comité Poétique Creole, was formed. And again, under the guidance of Alwyn, he recommended a series of actions that we could work on, apart from teaching people to write Creole and read Creole and all of that. Alwyn Bully recommended that we organize a Creole Day. And because of that, the first Creole Day was held in October, the last Friday in October. So that is the sort of history and tradition that we have, why we have it on the last Friday. And then that was just so successful that within a few short years, man, the one day wasn't enough. Journée Creole, that wasn't enough. So it expanded to a week. Why 1 week wasn't enough, the thing expanded to a month. And now around the world, I mean, we have basically 2 months from September and October, even into November, actually, some parts of the Creole world. So you might say 3 months of a lot of events, man, all over the world. Well, the Creole world, that is, and the diaspora and all of that. A lot of celebration of Creole-based activities. So back to the focus on Dominica. That's the sort of genesis of that. Now, a couple of years later, about 3 years later, we talked about the establishment of KEC in 81. So about 81, 82, 83, thereabout, we launched Heritage Day to sort of expand and diversify the activity, because since we say one day wasn't enough and we have a Creole week, so then that is why we established Heritage Day, which would be the Sunday to kick off Creole Week, Cement Creole. So that is the genesis of actual Heritage Day. And Heritage Day has remained basically the same formula for all these years. You started off with a mass, a Creole mass, or church service, depending on the community and so on. And then following that, you would have an exhibition of all the artifacts and all the Creole, things that people do, things that people sow, the agricultural produce, some of a lot of the artifacts thing you'll get in museum on display and all of that. So this exhibition, very important part of Heritage Day. And then later in the afternoon, that would be about 3 o'clock, you would have the cultural gala. I mean, the mini cultural gala in that sense, because the grand cultural gala takes place on November, but the Heritage Day gala, and at that gala in the afternoon, you would sash a cultural elder of the community. Now, the community would select the elder, and then we will honor that elder. So that is the tradition of Heritage Day, going way back to 1983. So it's been a long time that we've been organizing Heritage Day, Journée Héritage in Dominica. So that's the immediate backdrop to Heritage Day.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very, very much. So far, so good in terms of I already learning some things here. In terms of the sashing of an elder in a community, do we still practice that, Brother Rabes?
Oh, absolutely. So basically, the community that is selected, first of all, a committee is set up in the community, and then the cultural division provides technical input and advice and all of that, guidance and so on.
Okay.
And so it might say the months preceding Heritage Day, the committee gets to work and do all the research that's necessary, and they select the culture, because sometimes they have to almost because you have quite a few elders, and they have to select the person who is most deserving at that time. So that's the process of selection. So it's really done by the community, because they know the elders, better than us, people who sort of people who work in culture, and so on. So that is why. So there's a very democratic process in that sense. It's selected by the community, in the community, and then they choose the elder, and then they inform the cultural division into facilitating certain things and processes and so on and so on and so on, including some prize money, cash money, and all of that. So yeah, so that's how the thing is selected. So every year, New Heritage gets rotated in different communities every year. And it has a kind of a geographic spread to it. So like you have a north, south, east, west situation. So if we have Heritage Day in La Plaine, like we're having it now in La Plaine this year, today. So you find next year, it will be somewhere in another geographical location. I'm giving the north, south, east, west configuration. So you generally never have Heritage Day in another area close to La Plaine for next year. No.
Okay.
It'll go around. So you might have it somewhere on the west coast, or you might have it on the south side, or you might have it on the north side, all that kind of thing. So it's a rotation process every year.
True, indeed. Just before Brother Alvin comes in here, I heard you spoke of Mr. Leblanc, former Prime Minister of Dominica.
Yeah, he was Chief Minister, yeah.
Yeah, the chief
At the
minister.
time,
So,
the prime minister was just on the eve of independence and all that, an independent. Yeah.
yes, the chief minister indeed. Can I would I be right in saying that Mr. Libla, basically, based on what I've been hearing from you and other people, was the one who sort of opened the floodgate as it relates to a cultural celebration slash independence celebrations in Dominica? He had that kind of impact.
In the way that it is being celebrated. That was
Okay.
Leblanc's vision and his dreams and vision. Yes, because remember, when Leblanc came to power, there is the political dimension, there's the cultural dimension, and developmental dimension to Leblanc's ascendancy and the Labour Party then to power in Dominica back then. Because Dominica was really under the oppression of colonial rule, and lack of development that went with that, and so on. And then you also had the sort of class system here in Dominica as well. So you had the local bourgeoisie and so on, who also control all the economic levers of Dominica. So you had that too. That situation. But when Leblanc came to power, so as I said, he tackled three dimensions: the economic dimension of development, because Dominica was already a part of the Edo. There were no roads, so Leblanc, credit to his credit, start opening up Dominica into the road network and all of that. So that is now on the cultural dimension. That is where Leblanc, in his vision, said, well, let us get this sort of cultural celebration going every time every year we celebrate our national day, national whatever we call it. So it is thanks to the vision of Leblanc that we're celebrating our cultural celebrations during Independence time. I mean, the focus in that sense every day. I mean, Dominica is very, very, very unique in that regard. I mean, if you look around some of the other countries, when the way they celebrate independence, it is just a simple rally and they give a few honors and that's about it. But when Dominica's independence celebration is like 2 months, and it's a grand celebration. So it's a celebration of our Creole culture. And it's a celebration of the development of the state of development of the country at a given moment in time on a yearly basis. So it's really a grand situation. So when Leblanc organized the heritage, not the gala, that was continued by successive governments, and in spite of the change of status, it only got better and better and better. And then certain things happen. Like right now, we have the World Creole Music Festival, which is this is one of the the biggest, grandest musical festivals in the Creole world. I mean, that everybody wants to play at that, perform at that festival because it is so iconic that all roads lead to Dominica. So the World Creole Festival is just an additional dimension to the development of our heritage and independence and Creole celebrations.
Yeah, indeed. What you said in terms of it's a grand thing in Dominica. I just this week had this brief discussion with a young lady. Originally, I believe she's from Barbados. Yes, Barbados, and she was sort of taken aback as to our dress and everything that we do around that time. She said, if you try to get Bajans to dress up like that to celebrate even independence, then it will be something kind of, funny to them, and they will not be all into it. So she was very, very, very sort of really amazed as to how we do what we do, especially she was talking about the type of dress. Everywhere you go, she's seen a lot of people dress up in all sorts of ways, depicting, some aspect of our cultural heritage. So she was very, very impressed. So yes, I want to agree with you in that aspect. It's a very big thing in Dominica that Dominicans basically celebrate our culture by at least the portraying, the wearing of the types of dress.
The interesting thing about that too now, it has the economic dimension of our celebrations, which I mentioned earlier. Remember, we focus on what Dominica thinks. In all the speeches of the chief or the prime minister, they give us sort of an update of what's going on. So in our celebrations here in Dominica, you'll notice we have in all the cultural events and the World Creole Music Fest and all of that, and all the exhibitions, all that thing, there is a strong, that is when, well, that's one period for sure, when a lot of the vendors and the crafts people, the seamstresses, and by everybody making money. I mean, it's, you know what I'm saying? And then you have what, at least 4,000-5,000 visitors coming just for the Creole Festival. Obviously, they will stay and they spill over to that, because when they come to Dominica for the Creole Festival, they get a little taste. So they say, boy, they have to come back to Dominica at another time.
True,
And
true,
some
true,
like come for carnival and so on. And I say, boy, once you get the taste, boy, you have to come back for more. You know that
true.
kind of thing. So yeah, so the economic dimension of what Libra started is coming to real fruition now in
Yes.
as the way that we celebrate, and all the vendors are doing their stuff, the foods, the cuisine, the seamstresses are sewing tons of all kinds of styles and fashion, and you know, so it's very important economically for the country as well, culturally, politically, and economical. But we can't go wrong, you know, on that level.
True, true. Alvin, you have been listening. Thank you, Rabes.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Am I coming through all right, Lofty?
Yes, for now, yes.
Yeah. I know my system
It's
is acting
unstable.
up a
It's
little.
unstable, yes.
Yeah. But let me just ask, just kind of piggyback on what Gregory's been saying. I know he mentioned the word celebration several times and economic, but when Libla decided to go that route, was it more of a celebration or defining and finding who we were as a people? Can you speak to that a little? Because the celebration is good. I agree with what you've said, but how much does this celebration itself means to us? And that is the part that I think some of us still struggle with. That we do this thing, we celebrate, but at the core of it, what is it we are trying to do as well? And also one more thing. One more, hold on. One more thing.
We good.
One more thing is that in terms of the elders, what criteria is used to select the elders in the village? I mean, if based on what you may know, how do they determine, well, Alvin gets the lead? I know you said the villagers among them they select, but what criteria they use in that respect to select the elders? So I don't know if I've given you too much to chew on, but I want you to deal with the celebration and how it digs into who we are as a people or what we should be doing.
Okay. Yeah. Let me deal with the elder, because that is like, yeah. Basically, the cultural elder, as I indicated, maybe you were struggling with the thing at the beginning there, that there is a committee set up in the community that is selected for the Heritage Day celebrations, right? So several months before that date, you know, the committee is activated and gets to work. And the committee represents a cross section of people in the community, you know, the cultural groups, the village council, you know, it's a very democratic exercise. And in that process, they know the people, they're from the community, they know all their people, you know. So they consider various names, and then, as I said in my intervention earlier, sometimes it might be a very easy process. Other times you might have 4, 5, 6 names, and boy, it's a tough cookie there to make a decision. But that's the process. That's the process. It's very democratic process in the committee. The second, that's cool, right? The second question you alluded to was, can we celebrate when things are hard? That's the long and short of it, right?
Well, not necessarily.
Yeah, basically, Rabes, if I understand Alvin's point, he was basically trying to extract from you. It's true we are celebrating, but why are we celebrating? Why we are celebrating in terms of when Leblanc set up that sort of celebratory mood? Okay. How has that defined us as a people?
Well, the thing is, we are celebrating achievements. every step along the way. And that is what we got to do. Because remember, it is a struggle, you know, it's a political struggle, it's a cultural struggle, it's an economic struggle. It's not that we didn't just get that like manna from heaven, no, but we have to fight for that, we have to struggle for that. You know, so that is part of the history of our people coming from slavery. That whole historical thing is a struggle. I mean, the white man, the European never just gave that to us on a platter, no, but we had to fight for that, you know. You know, and even when they supposedly gave us the thing, they still try to tie us up, you know, in what they call the neo-colonial relationship. So every, you might say, every year that we celebrate, we take a pause, you might say, from the drudgery, the daily grind, and so on, to celebrate. So that is why, for example, the speeches, the speeches that the prime minister, the chief minister, whoever leads the country at the time, the speeches at independence is a kind of a stock taking exercise of where we are as a nation. So it's very important to do that. Obviously, it doesn't matter which government is in power at the time. The development process in Dominica is a work in progress. You know, you can never really stop doing stuff. So basically, that is what it is. The independence celebrations now, we are celebrating our processes or progress, whatever it is. And then we also have to do stock taking of where we are as well. And that is where the independence addresses and the various discussions and debates. We have lots of, we just had a discussion at UWI, right? So there's a lot of what do you call that? Educational introspection, and then the media too, like your radio station here and the other radio stations. There's a lot of discussion, calling programs. So people, it's an active discussion and debate. And of course, you know, people have to, when you're not going to debate, my man don't have to agree with man, you know, but it's a debate, yeah, and then you move forward. That's how it is. A healthy exercise and a healthy process in Dominica.
True. Alvin, any follow-up?
No, I mean, I follow what
Rabes.
Gregory is saying. You know, Rabes, yes, what he's saying. You constantly hear on the ground, Lofty, is that
Alvin, your audio is really cracking up.
Dropping, but
while it's true, we're doing what we're doing, and we've been doing it for so long. There seems to be so much of a monetary, if I may use, an economic thing as against to the real cultural thing about it. Yes, we have the dances, and especially as it resonates with our young people, because one of the things we want to ensure and maintain is the survival of the culture. And I guess that is something I'm sure Gregory will address a little later on. How do we sustain this thing? We've been with it from the 70s when Libla introduced it, which is what? Almost 50 years now?
Right.
How do we keep this thing going and ensure that persons who come after him, the younger folks who come after us, is going to keep that thing?
That's a very important point you're raising. The line is dropping, but it's a very important.
Robert, yes, go ahead. Alvin line is very, very fuzzy.
Really
But
bad.
make it just a commercial thing.
Yes.
Go ahead, Robert. Go ahead.
Yes, you were saying, how do we
preserve it? Yes.
Continuity, is that it?
Yes.
Right?
How do we preserve it? Yes. How do we preserve it, and how do we pass it on to the younger folks?
So these two are tied in, because right now, I mean, like as we struggle to preserve the culture, everybody want the cultural finance boy to do things for free, for nothing. You know, the people don't put enough economic importance to culture. They think culture is just a thing fellas doing on the side and so on. But now we have seen that, boy, you know how much reggae music rakes in for the economy of Jamaica, man? Or you know how much the same monarchy in England and all those castles and all those kind of colonial thing they have up there. So you know how much money that raking in for England, for London? You understand? And some of our antiques and all they volley that's sitting down in the museum in England, raking millions for them fellas while we there. You know what I'm saying? So there is a lot of, so right now the systems, the successive governments. I remember under the UWP administration, you had some fellas like Prevo and those guys. They were very attuned to the how you call that, the economics of culture and those things. That is why, for example, under their stewardship, the whole World Creole Music Festival was set up. I mean, yeah, I mean, you had the activists pushing for those things as well, Gordon Henderson and so on. So that started then, and it obviously, if governments change, but when something is good, you have to continue. You can't just drop it. And that is one problem sometimes we have in the Caribbean. Just because one party started a thing, good or bad, they just drop it. No, but the World Creole Festival is so important for the economy because what it does now, it encourages or it gives incentive for the cultural folks, the people making baskets and all kind of, I do using culture very wide. Not culture, it does not know about music and song and dance. Culture is a whole way of life. And that's where the economics comes in. And then not only the Independence time, but Independence time coincides with the cruise ship season. Yeah, it just opened. So, and between, and then going all the way up to Carnival, boy. And then the whole debate about changing the date of Carnival, which I always against it, changing the date of Carnival, because it is just so perfect in terms of the economic and all of that story. So basically, what is happening that in the new dispensation, we have to use our relative strengths to generate income and to develop our economy in Dominica. But we don't have, I mean, like what they call the gold and the diamonds and the minerals. We don't have that. But one of the rich, the strong things that we have is the culture. But you have to just make that thing. So that is why the Cadence music and the Bouyon music, and Ra will speak to that. That is why the culture is yielding so much monetary and economic value for Dominica. And the thing is that we still not seeing, you know. I mean, so the governments, you know, the policy makers, the functionaries, we have to really milk, I using the word milk, that benefit and potential of culture. We take it too much for granted. That is why we have to bring the Creole into the schools, and we have to you know, have more they call the cultural dimensions into the schools, because I mean, come on, not every student and child will become a university professor or be academics. You people, but who gonna sweep the streets? Who gonna do this? Who gonna do that? So it takes all kinds to make the world run and country function. So that is why we have to, in terms of diversifying our economy, utilize or make use of the education system, the school system, and the cultural system, and the cultural workers, and just sort of manage that very cleverly so that we can make the culture another major pillar of the Dominican economy. Can't go wrong with that.
Can't go wrong indeed. Folks, it is 20 minutes, 20 minutes to the hour of 7 o'clock. We're having this very, very important culturally minded program with the cultural L in Dominica in the name of Mr. Gregory Rabes. For all your calls, comments, queries, whatever it is, you can call in the numbers that I plugged into the live feed earlier to interact with our guests right here at 7 o'clock. Brother Derek Peters will be joining us in the conversation. Mr. Rabes, someone is saying here, and they're asking a question. The celebrations leading to independence over the years have become monotonous. In fact, most of us will agree that it has become politically manipulated. That person is saying, what changes, if any, do you see necessary to enhance the celebrations to bring us back to the true reasons why it all started? I think you answered that in brief already, but just to expound.
Well, the thing is, the 2 points are valid. We talk about what the political manipulation and what's the other one. There are two points.
And the bringing us back to the real deal.
Well, the thing is, I'm not saying that we have lost the real deal. What it's like you see like the World Korean Music Festival.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we cycle the same bands every year. So that is a problem. That is a real problem. So that in that sense, I've been there, done that, seen it, and it's getting boring. That's a problem. That's a problem. So we have to reach out the organizers of the World Korean Music Festival, and we have people. And you see, well, of course, we had organizational and human resource problems because the difficulties we had at all levels of the committee itself, the people who work there, and there are people like Wadix and in and out and all the whatever. So the point is, I think right now you have a new dispensation with Marva. They have, I think Wadix is an ambassador at large for that, and then you have some of the other cultural icon people also getting involved and at that level. So there is a Sobers Esprit, and all of that. So there is a sort of a potential here for us to make a step up our game, or like that kind of evaluate and step up the game in the new dispensation. And then on the what was the other one again? So was the cultural side.
Yeah, in terms of keeping it yeah, at a certain level.
Right.
The realness of it, the pureness of it. Some people have the opinion that it has been watered down every year. Your feedback.
Yeah. So that too. So that is why I raised the point about it's very important to for training. It is very important because, for example, as you say, the cultural activists, people like myself and all of that, so no goes out. So so that's the thing. That is why we have to train more people to administer culture and all of that. And a bit of that is being done because in the cultural division, for example, you have people like Wilson Matthew, the younger generation, Giselle and others have or my partner from Granby. So you have a sort of a younger crop running and that's the way to go. So we need to train more cultural workers, cultural people. And then, as I said, I keep saying all the time, that school system, where we have to fix that. We have to fix that school system. That's so we still in our colonial mindset in that school system. That's so we have to bring the culture seriously into the schools. The Creole, teaching of the Creole language, and the various things that we do, like the sewing of clothes and the carving and all that. We got to bring that back into the system. Every school child, once you enter the school system, boss, you should be a requirement to do something related to culture and linking that to economics. So you choose, I say choose your poison, but not in that sense. So you give them the choice. So who want to do the craft? Because people are naturally, they have their natural predispositions or dispositions. So they will choose. They will choose. But if we don't give them choices, we don't give them options, we're only focusing on academics and English and whatever. And foreign language, we're talking about Spanish and not Creole. So in that sense, we have a colonial mentality still. So that is why I wrote a song not too long ago. What are you talking about? The something mess up our head. It's a song, one of my latest releases. The bacon mess up your head, the bacon mess up your head. You fool it up with caca and you think you have a well, the bacon mess up your head. So in that sense, the bacon, he take out our brains and he fool it up with caca but caca is a poison. But that is very symbolic of what the white man has done to us in the colonial process. So he took out the chains, that famous line. He took the chains from it was on our feet. It was. Somebody might have to help me.
Our hands and feet.
Right.
Shackles on your feet and hand, yes.
And basically put it on our brain.
So that's why I use that song, Dead Calvas, because the Nana Calvas, like dead, like cyanide in that, like a deadly poison. So it's very symbolic so that is why it's important, and I will come in later on that. That is why me now wearing my hat as a poet and as a musician, that I use my poetry, my song, my lyrics, the music itself to add and to lend to that, you might want to say, revolutionary process of cultural and economic and social development. So like the Calypsonians, for example, who will sing about what's going on. All of, these are very important because we have to, that is another way to examine ourselves and our processes as we go along the development path. So we the Caribbean, but we go there. So we have, the politicians and the economists and the professors, they will do their things in all their symposium and all that kind of thing. But the calypsonians will do it on the street too and in the dance hall and thing and make even more poignant critics of the economy and all going on. I mean, we know the drill. We know the drill.
Brother,
Yeah,
Brother Robert is quite animated indeed. Thank
Why
you
on
very,
a
very much.
roll there, on a roll?
I know that. Let me punch that at you because I know even some people, they may be on the live feed now watching, listening to the conversation, and some may be of the mindset that ask Mr. Roberts, why did we go independence? Why did we go that route? What can we show for it? And some people speak to the fact that some countries that did not go that route, they are much more, they are further developed than us in Dominica. Can you lend some guidance in that regard, Mr. Roberts?
Right by us. That is in Martinique and Guadeloupe. By perfect. The colonial, French colonial authorities, well, the government of France, when they were trying to deal with the colonial situation in Martinique and Guadeloupe, they gave them a choice. I think it was 3 options: independence, associated status like a semi-colonial status, and a full-fledged department of France. That was the 3 options, And they voted in Guadeloupe, Martinique, and French Guiana, all the whatever, they want a place in Europe there, wherever. They voted to full departmental status of France because they figure, so nous say français après, or nous que français après, and they will get all the perks. But look at what's happening in Martinique. They've been on strike for what, 2-3 weeks now. It's a problem. So so it's a kind of a colonialism in this guy that's going on down there. You understand? So now in Dominica now, we had the option. We had the option to go independent. And people are saying, we're not
can you mute your mic, please?
We're ready. But if we had to be, quote unquote, wait on the mother England to make us ready for independence, boy, we would never see that. We'll never. So we had to bite the bullet. So that is why, as I explained earlier, when Patrick John made the Salisbury Declaration, and remember, Liblan had started the process, so the process was already developing. So when Liblan made the Salisbury Declaration, then Freedom Party come out with a thing, think it over us and go and going all around with Dominica, think it over. But that is where we fellas like Rosie Douglas and Washla and them, we formed the Popular Independence Committees. And we went all around Dominica explaining to people why it is historically necessary for us to go independent right now. We can't wait again. We have to take our independence. If we have problem with Patrick John, we'll deal with PJ after independence. But we deal with him after independence anyway. But the point is, independence, when you get political independence, you can solve a lot of problems. Staying under the classic colonial rule that we were under England, we will still be backward. So while Martinique and Guadeloupe, so-called, they're rolling in a so-called money, but every so often they have greve. What they call greve is a big strike. Also in Martinique, they have 2 months, not 2 months, at least 2 weeks now, big strike. Because it's a colonial situation they have there in disguise. So that is it's an interesting and tricky situation that we have to navigate, generally speaking. So when we analyze world developments, world situations, we have to look for the linkages, because all what's happening around the world is all linked. Because why you think Dominica has to go cap in hand and you know and beg, borrow, whatever. We have to be scrunting a lot to try to get development aid for Dominica. That is, you see, they haven't corrected the imbalance in the whole world economy. I mean, look at so much money they spend in, they get, and they can give that place they're fighting, the Russians fighting the Ukraine. How much billions the Americans give? You raise up for that. Look at what's happening in Israel. The amount of millions and billions that the Americans pumping in Israel to slaughter people like us. You understand? And they cannot give not even a little million to build a little health center in Dominica. The Americans haven't. When last the Americans do anything in Dominica? The only thing they've been giving us is some petrol to go and spray. Is petrol or diesel to go and spray marijuana fields, and they give us some more barrels of what gas for the police boat to go and interdict smuggling. But that's serving their interests. So they're not really interested in us. The American system, they're not interested in us. So that is why Dominica has to expand its wings, develop relationship with all kind of other countries in the world. So that started, it started under ULP, I know, for sure. And it expanded under the Labour Party, the current Labour Party. Eugenia Charles was still sort of trying to expand, but she was still very in this sort of American, European, and then when they invaded Grenada, even that was a horror story because well, what happened? A horror story. At the end of Eugenia Charles's tenure, she was very frustrated with the Americans, you know. She was and she went to Cuba eventually. I mean, on a private visit. Well, she was, but the point is, even Eugenia Charles was shifting in the way she was very right wing back in those days. And that's the thing. And the Americans are making our people even more radically left, if you might say, because of their nonsense. The way they're putting us.
What I can tell you, Brother Rabes, in terms of the political points that you expressed here, basically, I'm telling you straight up, it's 5 minutes to the hour for us to wrap. But you basically opened up a political Pandora's box, which we do have time to get into now, but I see your point, and your points are well taken indeed. In terms of your wrapping up comments with us here, Brother Rabes, how would you say that we as a people, is the future bright where culture heritage is concerned in Dominica?
I take a deep breath, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just need to take a gorge too in my ginger, right? My DTJism too. The thing is, why the future, there are, when I make my analysis, right, there are, you might say there are, if I have to use the intellectual, well, we say what you call impelling factors, like factors that push things, and then the future
yes.
So basically, in the layman's language, you have factors that push anything forward, and you have factors that push anything backward. You check? So in Dominica, we have some things that pushing us forward on the cultural front that we can take advantage of, and some of which we spoke already, right? Like we have the sort of infrastructure of the World Queer Music Festival. We have a vibrant arts, craft and thing, and the tourist industry, the cruise ship thing, all that impelling that kind of thing. But at the same time, now we are not maximizing, whether through legislative or through policy and so on, the economic returns from those things. So there are more actions that we can take at various levels, at the policy level, the legislative level, practical things on the ground, and training of people, and training the same crafts people we're talking about to make their things even better and more presentable. And they're doing that all the time. Because the tourists, they can't take too much big thing in their take back home. So you have to compact the craft and still make it appealing. So there's a lot of work to be done. So you have factors which are encouraging, but you have factors which not necessarily discouraging, but is a factor that we may have a little that tricky. So we have to take certain steps to deal with those things. And you might want to call them weaknesses, potential, whatever it is. So basically that's what it is. We have some strengths, we still have some weaknesses. Part of the weaknesses, I say, is ourselves and our attitudes and all of that. And some people and the school system right now, but everybody's still scrambling for all kind of GC thing and all that kind of thing there, and going on trying to work overseas, and people not looking back at Dominica and trying to work in Dominica and stay here and do stuff. I mean, but I still encourage a lot of young people also get an experience outside there now. Even like when you study, go on university, different university, get the experience, develop some skills, but always make an attempt to come back home and develop our country. Because the younger generation, Dominica is in your hands, fellas, like us. We only exit. We
You're
have
on the
to
exit. You're on the exit path.
yeah,
We need the departure launch.
yeah.
We need the
Yeah.
departure launch. Waiting for that flight.
Sorry?
Yeah, brother. Yes, Alvin was saying where you guys are in the departure lounge, waiting to depart. But just before we end there with you, just before we wrap up with you, sir, Alvin Thomas, always listening, always locked in. He says here, and pay very, very careful attention, Brother Rabes, because this one is really for you, from Alvin Thomas. He says, "Good evening, Lofty. I'm on. Couldn't miss that program with my comrade and teacher colleague at PSS, Mr. Gregory Rabes. Gregory has been immersed in the Creole culture of Dominica forever," he says. "He is intelligent, resourceful, and very solidly grounded in the movement to preserve and advance our Creole culture. He was also part of the local band Mantra, along with the Rabes brothers." He says, finally, Gregory is a storehouse of information on our Creole culture. So that basically is an endorsement of from Mr. Arundel Thomas to you here.
Arundel, my father, we taught together, man, in PSS. Arundel and Tony Lockhart, we taught together. And they're very, thank you, Arundel. I mean, Aro, my partner, we might not agree on the political side, but Aro is my partner.
He said he conveys regards.
You can't touch that. The politics can't intervene in that thing. But that aside, I mean, big up to Arundel, and thanks Arundel, and then we will just have to continue to do what we're doing. As I say, I do the work that I do in culture, and I do not sort of let the political tribal war or tribalism cloud my thing. I work with everybody. I work with you. I don't ask you what your politics is or whatever. Once it's for the good of Dominica, it is. And my own track record will show that I work with people on all sides of the political divide. And I work with them very professionally. And that's a real problem we have in Dominica, why people don't know how to be professional. You have to be professional, and professionally and you have time for different political shenanigans. What's a politician, But let me tell you, brother, when it comes to my work and the work with people,
you do it from a professional standpoint.
I don't let it get in the way, bros. It's for and the Dominica is the bigger picture. And everybody contributing to the pot, no matter on what political side you are.
And I agree with you 100%, Brother Rabes. Thank you.
Let me just ask Gregory a quick question. I know he did quite a few.
And we are winding down. We are winding down.
I know he did quite a few poetry. Does he currently have any publications? And if no, does he intend to have one? Because the reason I'm asking, all of that knowledge he has that Arundel spoke about, we can lose it. And that's what we've been doing. When people like him go, we've lost it. We need to preserve that either in print or in audio or in some shape or form. So do you have anything? And if yes, how can we get something? And if no, do you plan on having something published where you could put some of that information for our younger folks to mull on?
Yeah, the keyword is multimedia, guys. The keyword is multimedia.
Yes.
So I've been over my trajectory of in culture and all of that. So I have published, my first book of books was a book called Eruptions. But that's obviously out of print. But I work in various dimensions on video and the song music. So in a sense, through my calypsos, through my song, through my research, through the Creole, all of that is part of the multi-dimensional approach that I have to the working culture. So I approach it from a lot of different layers. I did some work with the Creole Committee. We had published some books on proverbs and all of that. I'm very in the heart of that, and we're working on a brand new Creole dictionary and all that. So my work is multidimensional. Regrettably, my current problem with the eyes and what happened to me there, it has really, quote unquote, made me lose at least a year already. Because I can't work the computers. So it really slowed me down, and I was at the point when I was about to do a launch into all the things that he's talking about, the different projects and all of that. But I'm plodding away. I'm hopefully in another, let's say 6 months, they will scrape all that thing on the eyes and I'll see a bit better and keep myself fit and eat well and that kind of thing. And then I can come back stronger. And my lyrics, boy, I writing all the time. Let me tell you, my music is that's another thing again. The music that I'm producing at the moment, and in terms of the multi-dimension of that kind of music is incredible. So I'm working.
All right, my brother. Thank you very
Thanks.
much. A solid note to end on. You are working and keep
working.
working indeed. Thank you very much, Brother Gregory Rabes, for your invaluable contribution to tonight's program. Thank you.
And round again. Bouyon.
Folks, it is 5 minutes past the good old hour of 7 o'clock in Dominica. Very interesting program with the cultural elder of Dominica, Mr. Gregory Rabes, indeed. I hope you guys learned something tonight. Again, thank you very much, Mr. Gregory Rabes, for your contribution to tonight's Civic Vibes program. Keep keeping on, brother. Keep keeping on.
The Bouyon mix up with what we call quadrille. And you know it's a little bit chickpea. All local ingredients are just science. I beat the belly, put it on the defense. Now Bouyon the difference.
Now, folks. We're going to continue the conversation with our brother, Mr. Derek Ra Peters. Once you hear that kind of music, we call it in Dominica the Bouyon music. Brother Derek Ra Peters must, it's imperative, must come to mind. Do you remember those days? Well, I do. So yes, folks, we're gonna discuss it for our brother Derek Ra Peters, the impact of that kind of music on our cultural celebrations in Dominica. A pioneer in the business for some time now. Oh yes, so without further ado, let us move across and say a hi and hello to our brother already here. Brother Ra, good evening to you, my brother, and how are you? Welcome.
Good evening to you, Lofty, and to your panel, Mr. Alvin Thomas, and all the rest of your crew, Mr. Rabes, and of course the world at large, because remember now, it's not like before, you have an antenna and it's only wrong Dominica, you're getting transmitted worldwide on that media, so thanks God for that. We want to give the Almighty thanks and praise for another Heritage Day, and of course for us to celebrate our culture and the people that we are. So thanks for having the program.
Yes, indeed. Brother Ra, on behalf of the Civic Vibes team and the many, many folks listening, locked in wherever they are this time, as you alluded to earlier, We want to thank you for, sharing some of your Sunday afternoon with us to discuss a very, very important topic as it relates to Dominica and Dominicans in the smack of our independence season indeed. Thank you.
Thank you too.
Yes, my brother. Alvin, you
Yes.
and Rod communicated something now with that kind of a dressing all you have there.
Yeah, we got the memo. You didn't get the memo.
It's Heritage Day, the dress code. But you
Yeah.
I wash that on his
Absolutely. Lofty didn't get the memo. Yeah. But we're looking good, man. Of course. Jen toujours.
Gentitash, man.
Gentitash.
Si bagay live here, man. Lush.
Live here, we watch.
Avec Millie, man. You know
Millie.
Millie, you know it's name.
Oh yeah.
You don't say it out loud. Yeah. So,
but good to see you.
Man, all them kind of vibes there. So
yep. Good to see you, Ra. Good to see you, man. Good to see you.
Same here, you know.
All right. Well, yeah, as Lofty say, I mean, that music can never die. But Lofty, if in case my internet acting up on me today, I don't know. Diable désolé, Jordi. Vous savez, you did diable désolé.
Yes.
Il can pêcher, ça, il dit, il can pêcher quelque chose passé. Possession.
Yeah, but so far so good. So you can continue.
Yes. But yeah, well, it's good to have you, Ron. I guess the first question that comes to mind, what were you guys thinking at the time? Young guys in your early 20s, maybe, thereabout, I would say. Gentitash, as they say, gentitash. What was your thinking? Gentitash. What was your thinking to go that route and say, well, let's create Bouyon. Let's create a song that incorporates Xingping, Lapoka, Buit, and all that kind of thing. What really created that?
Well, I think first of all is the culture, because Bouyon music basically is a patriotic music, very percussive music, very percussive rhythm. First of all, well, as you know, me from youth there, I've been playing in a lot of different groups, from Harambe, led by Natalie Charles, of course, Natalie Charles, and being in PAT, we form a couple of groups, the group I, and so many other little groups that we formed. But no, that was been growing with me from since then, running by the riverside, playing Lapo Plastic, as we call it, is Lapo Cabwit, but the beat is Lapo Cabwit, but all we make it is Lapo Plastic,
Yes.
Basically, the vibe hit me when we formed the group, and we have a long history of the group, and some people get maybe tired and fed up or hearing the story. But now when we formed the group, and so by the time Flames and 17 and those type of groups were playing, but people like you and me would be familiar with groups like Elibat and the GI's Brass.
That's right.
Playing those kind of music when we listen to the radio station like Radio Antilles and stuff like that. And we know the kind of a piece that they were playing. Of course, we some time ago, we kind of been noted as part of the Leeward Islands,
Yeah.
Part of the Leeward Islands sometimes. Anyway, fast tracking now. So when them groups came across, and of course, the band at the time, will mimicking that style. I really didn't want to be like a copycat. I really check in well, but we have so much original rhythms here. I reason by the riverside, we know Lapo Cabwit, we practice Lapo Cabwit. Even though I never go on the road to play it because my mother won't allow she won't allow me to go on the road to play my Lapo Plastic. But I practice with those guys, in the night and stuff like that, Ivo and UT, all them guys, right? So we had that Lapo Cabwit beat. Of course, my aunts and uncles and cousins and so used to come down every independence. But it wasn't independence, it was National Day, we used to call it. They would come down and be dancing quadrille and stuff like that, coming from
National Day, yes.
Frankfurt and stuff like that. Of course, the original place was Rosalie. That's where they're from originally. So, they would come down and be doing that thing. So I had an idea of the Xingping, the dance, and of course the music. And of course, the ballet. Because my dad is from Granby and stuff like that. So I say, but we have them reading there. Of course, before that, just about 79, that we had done a Cadas album with a little group that we have called Earth, with people like Dexter Valmore, people like Derek Thomas, Ippies, you know, Ippies,
Ippies, yes.
was in the band as well. Wackers was in the band. Spikey.
Yes, Spikey now playing with that band in Florida.
Impact, right?
Impact.
Spikey and my brethren, Frankie Tong, you know. So we had recorded a Kadas album. So I came from that kind of a background, and of course I love reggae, so you know, our reggae, you know, collection was really, really huge. So I said to myself, boy, you know, I do want to be a copycat, you know. So I said, boy, why we don't incorporate our rhythm, you know, a local rhythm or Dominica kind of, you know, to put that kind of identity on the vibe. So that's where it kind of a stem out. And I work on a first track, which was the first Bouyon song. We could call it the first Bouyon song called Culture Shock. This is our culture, one in a million. There is no other one to compare. Just take a hold and I know you'll be surprised. Our hopes and dreams will soon be realized. Chaco, chaco. And then I put a dub kind of a thing. Chaco, chaco. Level out. You know, so there is where the whole vibe kind of stem out. You know, some people have kind of a different stories. I won't really go and argue with people. You know, everybody have the kind of a perspective. But, you know, that thing have been in me from Lyrical Youth. Because from Lyrical Youth, I play, you know, drums. Well, you know me. So
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I've been playing since I was from 2 years old. I've been playing, and of course, you would know that my first performance was maybe when I was about 7 years, opening for Gaylord's Power Union in Arak Cinema.
Yes.
With the group Arambe, you know.
Yes.
So long before people like Washla, Gregory and Rascal, and them had the performance poetry. We were long doing that already. You know, so we were in that movement already. So basically, that is where that whole vibe kind of stem out. And of course, it's not only like the music, but the lyrical content. You know, the whole concept, you know, about the naming, you know, the name Bouyon. Bring you right back to when you go to the country. And when they cook the food, it have the bouillon. You check. Sometimes you throw the water, but now we used to drink it and see, well, what we drink in the water because there's a bouillon. You know, basically, and man say, you know, you're criticizing and say, oh, bouillon is for pigs. Yes, they used to make the bouillon, cook it for pig.
Right.
But at the time, we used to drink it because when you're making a broth,
right.
So what you're doing, you're throwing away all the sauce, the gravy.
Exactly. No.
Everything is when you throw that, you know.
That's right.
You know, like some Rastaman.
The water, the broth is. The broth water is the best part.
Exactly. Don't give me the meat, but give me the sauce. You know, so when they cook the pig in it, they say, oh, no, I don't need meat, but give me the sauce, you know, but because there is where the action is, where you see, but you're still drinking it anyway. So because you know, that is why it is. And we look for a name that was kind of a Creole-ish, because, you know, as I said before, Bouyon music is a patriotic music, you know, so basically that was the whole concept, you know.
Talk about the lyrics. You mentioned it already, and I'm glad you talked about it so early. You speak about the lyrical content of what you guys were doing. Tell us why the lyrical content was so important.
Well, the lyrical content was a way of documenting certain things that have been said, certain terms and language, you know, like Creole words, you know. Like, for instance, and certain things that people would say, like when I was a youth man there, we remember the guy used to be picking up the rubbish. You must be familiar with the guy. We used to call him Janjali.
Yes.
Like a tune, you know, so I dropped that in his song, you know. Like a tune. And people wonder where I do, but that was the man chant. That was Janjali chant when he was picking up, you know. You know, it was so nice when Harry would say, but yeah, man, I remember Janjali, God rest his soul, you know, because he did videos for us, so we must touch him there briefly because I was kind of a quick fast tracking, you know. I'm like Harry, what again is this name now? Petit's brother, Harry
Roye,
right?
Yes,
right. You know, because it's he that really worked with me on producing them free videos, which stands for, you know, the band also. We don't call it game. Too much talala going on, and there's too much talala coming. Anyway, basically, that is the kind of a vibe. So now the lyrical content was a way of documenting. When you drop it, like in an album, you document it, you know.
Storytelling.
Yes. So you document certain things, you know. For instance, when we do the Bouyon Pioneers, you know, kind of a fast tracking, I did a song like Characters, talking about Haral, Makaxida, Dora Jelpima, and Sunshine, you know what, you know, and Mako and all them kind of advice there, you know, and
Yeah.
all the characters that we used to have in tongue, Simbot, all those kind of
Yeah.
advice, kind of put that out, you know, and kind of document those kind of people, Ugly Willy, you know, those kind of people there, you know, No Slap Saint, you know,
Yes.
and so many of them that,
Right.
you know, I feel, you know, those characters had an impact on us because back in the day, was no TV like that, right?
Mm.
We had the movie house, you know,
Right.
Paris then, you know, after Arawa came in. But there's where we had our entertainment by going and tease those people. I was Irish Capula. You know, you had fun doing that too. You know, I see you smiling after church going down and trouble Irish Capula and stuff like that. And have people running behind you, ABC and those kind of things. And that was the fun of it. You know, so that was the whole idea to document certain vibes that was going on because it's all about culture. As I see, it's a patriotic music, it's about culture. So that was the feeling that I have. But again, no, we cannot stop the revolution and we can't stop the evolution of music. You know, it's just that now we have to be there now as the elders to guide those that are coming up. So there's where we're talking about generational wealth, you know, to preserve certain things so we can pass it on in a pure form, you know, so you can add, but not to distort, you know. So that's what we're talking about, you know. But no, those guys, then you cannot really blame them because they can only bring out what they have in. So that's why, you know, we have to put in. So when they bring out, they have something, you know, substantial, something with value, you know. So no use we go there just criticizing them and bringing them down and making them angry and stuff like that. Let's make them understand. We're not on a competition, we're on a mission, you know. And we have to think of the next generation. So that's why we have to make sure that we preserve our generational wealth, you know?
Yeah. Lofty, you want to jump in?
No, I'm there. I'm learning some stuff. So go right ahead still. I'm just taking some notes.
You see, you see, Lofty is wondering all those names you call there, Simbot, Harold.
Yeah.
You know,
Diana.
Diana.
Yeah. Diana Wong.
Those were the rows of characters, man.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
No, but I think you have really hit the nail on the head, and that's why I raised the lyrical part of it so early. Yeah. Because I mean, we're discussing Bouyon music here tonight, but even with Calypso or any one of those, it is a way of telling a story. Right. What's your story? What's the story of you as a people, as a country?
Right.
And you're absolutely right. That is where, and it brings a certain level of creativity. Because like you say, I mean, to think of those characters and say, well, how could I incorporate them in song? Because they are part of our society, whether we want to like it or not, they were part of the society, you know? You remember growing up, this guy who, what's his name now? He used to have that big bell. And he would come, old police. When water, they take
water will be going at 6 o'clock. Get your pockets, get your thing, la la la. You know, that was an old English way of passing the news, you know, because that to me, I see some movies where, I mean, of back in the day of long time in the British time, you know, because as you know, the British rule, British kind of mentality kind of vibes, where they ring in the bell and they would be saying, do you remember when he finished reading this thing, he used to say, God save the Queen.
The Queen. So how do you take that now and put that into a song?
Right.
Ring the bell, or something like that.
Ring the bell, Christabel.
but
even go to school and do not forget the golden rule. This is the guidelines laid down for you to follow. When teacher give your assignment, you must have tolerance and patience. Waste not time to fall behind, or you will suffer. There are 4 things that come not back. Take it from me, because it's a fact. Spared arrow, spared arrow, the past life, spoken word, neglected opportunity, right?
Yes.
So we put a lesson in song. That's what we used to do before. Every time I used to listen to a song growing up, it was always some story or a lesson. So when I've listened to a song, there's a story behind it. There's something when you come out, when you finish hear that song, you know you're coming out.
Yeah, there's a message.
A little better than how you were.
Right.
You know, because I grew up on like Bob and you know the Wailers, you know.
Yeah.
Posh, Bonnie Wailer.
Third World, them bands, yeah. Yeah.
Third World, they were Third World and them guys coming a little later, but we're
Yeah.
talking about even Maximo Romeo was there before, but you used to sing like a root song, Max Romeo. Yeah, listen. Don't let me push it down. Don't lie, don't you remember? Bad song.
Yes, yes.
So now we had other guys like Ken Lazarus. We had
Ken Lazarus, that's right. Yep,
other guys that had so much positive. Jimmy Cliff.
Yep.
Cliff was way before Bob. Well, he was there because he was the one that brought Bob to Coxon. He was there. I mean, you listen to Jimmy Cliff.
Oh yeah.
All reggae.
You can get it if you really want.
It wasn't pure reggae.
But you must try.
Try and
try.
You have people like Desmond Decker.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
But tell me, Rob, before I get Lofty to come in again, going back again, let's look at the creativity and the lyrics. You see Simbot walking on the road. You see all those characters or whatever.
Right.
What goes in your mind as a songwriter when you're saying, well, let me create a Bouyon song on this or that or that? Because, again, I'm trying to say that in light of what we have today, and I agree with you, we need to collab and carry the mission. But when you go into that room or that studio and you say, you know what, shit, let me make a song about Simba, or let me make a song about whatever. What goes as a songwriter, creator, what goes to your mind?
Well, I think it's like pure inspiration, you know, because I am a person, I believe firmly in the Most High. And I love culture, you know, because I raised up in that. So now, as I say, you can only bring out what you've got in. You know, so for instance, I write a song, drum song, right? Ever since I small, I want to be drum for carnival. Real thing that, eh? And country. Long ago, country people coming to town, listen to this time. People calling them country bookie to me wasn't wise. From the country, we all are coming.
Yes.
From island, we are patrolling. Taking a truck ride from the country, making my way to town. There I saw this well-groomed lady watching me up and down. You know how the way I'm feeling. Oh, it was so embarrassing. Don't call me so country bookie, country. But no, back in the day, with the model.
Yes.
Lyrical gigaboats.
Yes.
They have to find a pipe quickly to wash that because fellas say, Mr. come out Marigot, boy. That's Marigot more than that there, boy. Oh, that one there come out, yeah. Mr. come out maybe not Bataka now, maybe Bataka too, but Boutica.
Yeah.
And it's the names, you know, we used to freak out on. We didn't care, you know, just in name. Well, I'm tell you, boy, you come on Boutica is like as if it's a ridiculous place to come out.
Yeah.
But when you check the value of the names, Boutica, hear the vibes of it, hear the sound of it. You know what I mean? So, you know, that is the kind of a vibe that hit me. You know, is what I live. You know, the culture, the religious. Because to me, Bouyon music is a whole culture. Is my religion. Is my way of worshiping. Is my way of eating. Is my way of dressing. Is my way of speaking. It's just a total lifestyle, the way we eat, you know, the way we cook, the ingredients. You know, like me, I don't only talk about, oh, I play in Bouyon, you know. I can manger Bouyon aussi, sir. All today there, you know, a lady came to me, you know, from St. Lucia, and I won't forget who she was, you know, and she told me, yeah, I used to run indies when you used to come there, and so because I meet on Facebook and we chatting, and so because I meet a lot of people, but I forget a lot of people too, you know. And that she told me, yes, in indies, I remember when he was drumming and singing, but that is what I really love when you drum and you sing. And, you know, we came up with the conversation, so I tell her, well, I was just cooking my food there. Sunday and I was doing my little thing. So I enjoy doing my cooking too. So bouillon is not just what I just play. I cook bouillon. My whole life, as I tell you, my religion is bouillon. My total life, my dress, my whole vibe is bouillon. You know, so it's not just a shallow thing, a man just make a track and thing and believe. No, it's something deep. It's something of my soul. You know, when I play of the soul. I don't just play. No, when I play.
Oh yeah, it comes across. It comes across.
I play with the spirit of the ancestors. You know, because bouillon is the spirit of the ancestors. The rhythm you hear in there is not just me. That's the vibe of the ancestors. You know, because as I said before, my mother was born on the estate in Rosalie. You check, she came down town quite early at 7 years old, you know, to meet her dad. He was, you know, some big guy on the port, you know, in town there.
Right.
My father self was from Granby, but you know, he himself came to town there quite young as well, you know, on Lyrical. You check, so that roots, that vibe always in me, you know. So you could feel like kind of a Granby, you know, I wasn't going to Granby that much, but I knew I had that Granby vibes. And I had that Rosalie vibes, which is really more strong for me. Because when you have people like Bala that come from there, you know what I mean? You know what that means to me.
Right.
Really tribal.
Right.
Tribal. I don't play, I don't just doing music arbitrarily like that. That is in my soul, you know?
Yes.
So we're talking about soul vibes. You check me? So it's not just ordinary, you know, it's not that I do feel that ordinarily. As I speak to you in evacuation, because that just coming because you hear the voice of the ancestors right there. Yeah.
Lofty, jump in, Lofty.
Yeah. Right. Thanks so much for the information thus far. You mentioned two words there that struck me very, very well, in that evolution and revolution.
Yeah.
And hear what I'm going to say to you and then ask. The elders before, they used to listen to a kind or their type of music. You, in your time, your era, you listen to your type, you even produce your type of music, which you call the bouillon. People like me growing up, I enjoyed the bouillon, as you said, which I know can even relate better. It's a message that you guys were pushing in song. The country, don't call me no country, conchel, you know, all this kind of stuff. And there was a certain kind of lyrics to it that sort of was uplifting. The new generation or the younger generation now, they too, as you spoke of revolution and evolution, that's the connection I make. They have their own type of music that they make, they want to listen to as well. Now, how would you connect, for example, your era, what you listen to, what you're still listening to what the younger folks now are much more inclined to listen to? Because trust me, Ra, you will well agree with me that the younger generation now will listen to a type of music, and that balance bati and conchel and thing, they may listen to it but not get the kick, not get the gig that you got, I got. So how now do you kind of mesh those two and have them understand that, hey, whatever you do in terms of music, there's supposed to be a certain, you know, bar, a standard?
Well, you see, as I said already, you know, we could talk about maybe three. We could talk about the revolution, the evolution, and the innovation. Yeah. No, what we have to understand, you know, when you used to listen to your father play his gram or whatever he had, my father had a gram, a grande. I used to listen to Tito Puente. I didn't know it was Tito Puente, but I love it. I listen to Nat King Cole. I love it. I listen to maybe Gaylord's Power Union, maybe at the time was maybe what that was current at that time. Yeah. But no, I was looking forward to what my generation at the time into.
Okay, good.
A reggae or spooge or what was ever going on in them time, Motown song, you know. What's the name? The Diana Ross and the Supremes and Michael Jackson, the Jackson 5, and
the Soul Trains and things.
One. I know a Soul Train coming out even a little later.
Mhm.
You check. So you'll find Bouyon music is what bridges the generation gap. But again, you know, a talk came up about some of the older heads didn't already pass on, which is not very true. They could maybe pinpoint certain people that did not, you know, do what they're supposed to do. But I, for sure, you can say I blow my own trumpet, but no, I will blow it because why? I have my trumpet and I have my mouthpiece and I blowing in it, right? Remember, I send in spittle in it. I cannot give you now to blow my trumpet for me because I have spittle in it. Maybe you have to get your own mouthpiece to put on it or decide you want your own trumpet to blow. Okay? So that's my kind of a concept about that. So I'll blow it. I know I brought in a lot of people in the vibe, and as I see now, Bouyon music is one that bridges the generation gap. Some people wasn't really, some of the pioneers wasn't into that kind of a vibe of bringing other people into that. For the genre to survive, you have to be able to bring new people in. So moving forward now, it had that gap, which I really didn't want to happen. But it happened because of certain things and greed and jealousy and all the kind of nasty things that have us in this country where we are right now, which we could get into. I don't know if we'll have enough time. And it kind of mess up the whole movement because it's a Bouyon movement. You're taking out, it's like an exodus. You know, it's like Moses going into Egypt or all the story going, we maybe have kind of ambiguity and all kind of a cushion with it and confuse us. But put it that way there, like biblical vibe analogy will go. You're going in there and you get your people. And that was the whole movement. Set my people free. That was the whole vibe. But happened that now some people come, just like how they interrupted the black man history. So the Bouyon music was interrupted by certain people, right? And I would say it really hurt me because now you mess up a whole movement now and you kind of mess up the next generation because you're supposed to have like a smooth transition where they understand the foundation and be moving on. But guess what? They had a lost leader, just like what we have now. And that is what the situation is. So people love the rhythm, but they don't have the lyric to go with it. You cannot really blame those guys because they can only bring out what they got in. They didn't have the time to give them the vibes. And it hurt me because, I mean, a lot of guys come through by me, but now I could only do so much. I'm only one person, right? But I brought in a lot of people because to make the genre survive, the responsibility of us was to bring other people in, right? So now we have that situation there now. But slowly we could see the whole vibes correcting. Easy does it. Because right now my son Ajmal is producing. He getting a lot of swing, a lot of squeeze, and a lot of jealousy, and a lot of oppression and whatnot. But no, I tell him to be strong. You have to be strong because we're on a mission. We're not on a competition. We'll come true. You know, we have a lot of people, instead of the helping, they're supposed to be, we are the only band in Roseau right now, right? A band in Roseau. We getting no help. Nobody's helping. We go to them ourselves. Who's supposed to be ruling? We get no help. They was all kind of a story, all kind of a run around and so, and we're not politically inclined to anybody. You are the rulers right now. You ask us for a vote to put you there, to help us to be a better, and we go to you right now. You have your own cartel right now. Because if you look at it properly, you'll see there is a certain cartel. They in everything. Rabes just said it a while ago. And you say about political and keyback, I had that time for that. A wrong is a wrong and a right is a right. I don't care who it is. That's what my mother teach me. When you're wrong, you're wrong.
Yes.
And when you're wrong, come and tell me you're wrong, you know.
Yes.
Don't flip at cover, don't fix up nothing for me. Tell me exactly what went on. So when I know I wrong, I keep it quiet. When I know I think I right, I go and I tell my mother, oh, that is how this story go.
Right.
And she, but hey, you're right there. You was wrong to go there. So when I believe I was right, I still get my correction. So basically, that is the vibe, right? A wrong is a wrong and a right is a right. But no, what is going on there? Because a lot of things is hijack. Carnival hijack, the World Creole Music Festival hijack, Independence hijack, Dominica.
Hijack?
Amen.
Dominica hijack?
No, we under some, and I don't come out to bash nobody.
Right.
I not in no kind of a favor in nobody, but I have to talk about what affects me.
Yes, yes, yes.
You know, I'm not begging nobody for nothing, but how can you have a thing like that? Man create a music that doing wonders in the world right now. And you find the best thing to do is to squeeze a man like me. In every area that you can get, any opportunity you get, I get in squeeze. See where I live in there? Look the park right there. No?
Yes.
Just across the road is the park.
Yes.
It's a park. Stadium, what they call it. Right? Look ministry right there. Look, I right there. The man say exactly what's going on. And I'm not crying, you know. But it's bringing out the vibe as it is. Because now, if we put you to represent us, you're supposed to represent us and not yourself. You know, we can't be selling our birthright for a pot of porridge, my brother.
Right. Right.
Move on.
No, I think you have hit the nail on the head. And like you say, call mama take a D or go mama take a D or si ozo, bogozo. Di croyez, pas mettre gloire à bouche pour parler. Vous savez?
My mother tell me I could be in front of the queen. I could be in front of the pope. I could be in front of the priest, the imam, the whatever he may be. Be yourself and be firm and be strong.
And just do it respectfully, that's all.
Exactly. You are not to be
respectfully, but you should be shy away from it.
And get all emotional, emotionally sidetracked, but see like it is and bring your point across and try to make people on a not understand but comprehend. You know?
But I'll tell you, Ra, and Gregory made the point earlier on, you know. Dominica has the richest culture in the region, in music, in everything. Yesterday, for example, my wife was listening to a video with St. Lucia. St. Lucia only now started doing what you call Journée Creole or Creole. And they have a whole lineup a week, a month, or whatever they have. You know, last year, earlier this year, there was this big talk in the media of the Minister of Tourism in St. Lucia saying that they want to do a Creole festival as well. They're doing Creole. Yesterday in Atlanta, the 19th, St. Lucian had a Journée Creole activity right here in Atlanta, doing cultural performance and dance and foods and the whole 9 yards. And what you're saying is so correct because, I mean, if you go back to the genesis of WCK, if you go back to Exile One, Gramax, Gaylords, Bells Combo, Midnight Groovers, I mean, just go on and on and on. In terms of our food, our cuisine, our music, and all that good stuff. I mean, we got it. But like you say, the support is not there. And I mean, look at Dice. Dice is a 9 times Calypso king in the region. The first subject, I may be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'll stand corrected. But easy on the lineup for the Creole this year. Not what I know of. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong.
It's sad because you see everything became so politicized. I mean, because some people don't know exactly who you're supporting or what and what and what, you get squeezed because now if you're not showing, oh, I from this guy, then you say, oh, you must be on the other side. But I have no side. My side is the side of the Most High.
Right.
The side of the Most High. Justice and peace. That's what I'm looking for. Equal rights. You check me? Yeah. Equity. What belongs to me, give it to me. What is yours? You can have the whole bay of sand. But you see that one grain of sand that belongs to me? Give me my grain of sand and hold the whole bay of sand. Take all the money that it have in the world. But you see that 1 cent that belongs to me, that red cent? You just give me a red cent, I'll be satisfied. You check? Because some people, they want all what they have, plus all what you have. You know, I mean, I used to be hearing about like communism and stuff like that, but I always look at it, you know, they have the positive to it where everything can be balanced and stuff like that. I say, well, fine. But right now, I don't know if it's communism or dictatorship or whatever it is, or dictatorship, or I don't know what it is. I think something is wrong some way, somehow. And I'm not a politician, I'm a musician, but no, I must talk about what affects me.
True, true.
And it only affects me, it affecting my family.
Right.
The children paying for it.
Yeah.
So Ra, as a top musician like you in Dominica, the point you made a while ago, look stadium, look you there, right there. Have you ever been approached, Ra, for you and your band or whatever it is to perform at the World Creole Music Festival at any one point in time?
I think I'm being reproached. I don't think I was approached. I was approached and reproached. Like use, abuse, and refuse. That's what it is, because I get a call saying, we want you on a thing and math. So I say, okay, no problem. That is what it is. And stuff like that. We'll get back to you. I never hear nothing. Okay, we're gonna check you to be on the side order in the botanical gardens. We'll check you. Up to now, I don't hear nothing. I hear the lineup call. My name was on the lineup. I have the recording, and I've heard nothing up to a day like today. Nobody called me. Nobody asked me nothing. But now it was said in a program that I would be there. And I'm not begging for nothing, my brother. I'm not begging. I'm not going on my all fours. I'm not a house slave. I'm not a boom boom fly. I'm not none of those kind of guys there. I stand up for what I believe in. And I'm not going to be running after anybody because they know who I am. They know who I am. They know what I do. I mean, the work is there. Why I have anything to prove again? I have anything to say, oh, I'm rah or something like that and pose and say, no. Who know me, well know me. Who don't know me, well, fine. But I find, you know, to me, there is a serious effort to what we call in the music industry to blackball me. You check me? I mean, as I tell you now, I'm not crying, but no, who in the kitchen feels the heat, and who in the toilet, you know what they smell. So,
and you have to give words to your feelings as well.
Well, you know, Ra, you can hear the lyrics in even Ra response, you know. Approach, maybe reproach, the order, but the side order. You know, when you go in a restaurant, you order your main meal and they tell you they have a few side orders that you can add if you want. But the main meal is what it is. But you could hear Ra's response is a real lyrical, a real lyrical brain that is thinking there. But seriously, Dora, I mean, I fully can, I wouldn't say use the word relate because I'm not a musician as such, but I can understand fully what you're saying. And I think that is our problem. And that is why persons like myself out here, out of Dominica, is every day is committed to want to see better for Dominica. Because I knew how it was in the past. Okay, we knew how things were done. I happen to have been in the Ministry of Tourism at the time when the World Creole Music Festival, not the World Music Creole Festival, the World Creole Music Festival came about. I was the Assistant Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, working inside right there under Norris Prevost when it all happened. Set up the ministry and everything. So I know, I understand how it all came about. And even if you go back, we know even under order, the Eugenia Child's administration, she made sure she gave duty free to bands. Every band, you know that, Ra, would get duty free to come in and do. She made sure that Dominican's band would get priority over visiting bands to come in during Carnival and perform. That our bands would get better treatment. So I understand clearly what you're saying. And I think our Bouyon is so live and well. And I don't think we will lose it, but what I think is likely to happen, other persons are going to take it You know, like they say, if you don't use it, you lose it. If you have something and somebody else see that you have a product or a service that is good and you're not doing the best of it, they take it. That's why you have in big countries like the United States, you have intellectual property right, you have copyright, you have all those kind of rights because somebody could take your idea and run with it.
You know, continue. That's why I had a song called Too Short to Flam, you know. I
Yeah.
had a song called Too Short to Flam, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. That's why we say everything we have, we trash it away. We never save it for a rainy day. We say so many things we cannot count. When
Yes.
we tell them so, they stretch themselves. Look at them. Can you believe is the type
Too
of
short to flam. Yes.
You know?
Yes.
People feeling so much pressure, like they're burning up in fire. Some are crying, rescue me. Please hold on to life. You'll be free. I mean, you check it out. That it's like, you know, it's really tough. You know, I know people trying to call me this kind of tough.
I know.
You know, it really have us under pressure. That, you know, we had so many things. You know, we are the best of basketballers.
Yes.
Huh? Right or wrong?
You're right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Huh?
Yes.
Best of footballers.
Yes.
Best, you can name it.
And we don't trip in you. We don't trip in you. Yeah. We don't trip in you, Ra. Some of the sports we didn't learn on bare minimum, you know. Not any say, well, state-of-the-art field where you have everything for you. You have a trainer, you have facility, you have equipment, and performing at the best.
Right.
But go ahead.
So you see now with little or no equipment or whatever it is there, you know, the facilities, we still come out on top. So you could imagine that if we really furnish with the right set of things, you know, so that is our problem right here. Now you have people, when they see a thing, like for instance, you have TL Lafont, and everybody out there, we win. Oh, okay, fine, but how much did you do now to make us win? You know, promise this, promise that, what and that. So what about the people out there that have the potential that you're supposed to help? So you only know them when they come in for a trophy? No. What about building up people? And that's what we're talking about, you know? That's the same kind of a vibes that I did in the Bouyon music. I brought in a lot of artists, musicians, producers, and you just name it. I brought them in because I know for the whole vibes to grow, that you need those people in there. I brought them in. That doesn't mean they were good at what they were doing yet.
Right.
You groom them.
Groom them, yeah.
Teach them. Get them there. Some of them is big, like, so for instance, the cultural thing there, right? The cultural guy, right? He was with me in Roridian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Other guys, like in Triple K, we have the bass man was with me. You have Geoffrey was with me. You have Emil.
Yeah.
Stars was with me.
Skinny.
Oh, we don't talking about the CK kind of a business there.
Yes.
We're talking about after, because we got guys that I brought in, because I brought in how much guys, even though they come and they say how much kind of a nasty things, it doesn't matter.
Even Maggie was the guy, pull the plug.
I mean, Morris, right?
Morris
was the one that brought in, Morris is the one that brought in, like the different kind of rhythm patterns.
Yeah.
Kind of drum patterns. Some man was taking credit. Some man was taking credit for it, right? Some man was taking credit for it. But it's Bachar Bois was the one that was bringing the rhythm and stuff.
Yeah, I remember that. I know Morris well. You know? Morris must be listening. I hope you listen.
Just calling a while ago because
tell him give me a call. Morris, boy. Yeah.
I have that thing going on there, right? And the amount of guys, because in order to make that thing grow. So when I hear fellas come out and say, oh yeah, this and that, and the older heads, no. If they know a couple of heads that didn't help, point them out. Say this one there, that one there didn't help, you know? And I say that very forcefully because now I know the type of work that I do and the amount of resources, personal resources that I could be putting with my son right now. And I repeat that a couple of different programs, that I could be spending those thousands of dollars on my son because he needs exactly what I was giving to other guys to make the vibe grow. So now I think it was a bad statement for whoever it was, they know themselves to come out and say, well, the older heads, and I find that was very rude and disrespectful and out of place. You know what I mean? To come out and make a statement like that. For instance, right, GL, I must talk about GL, right? She was the one that made that kind of an effort, and I hear she was sanctioned and reprimanded when she made that kind of a thing about Bouyon music and what and say it must get a kind of a place in the next Caribbean Awards and stuff like that, right?
Mm.
The guys that never get the award, shame, but to me, I never hear them man say, boy, you know, big up JL. I never hear them man say big up JL. And I find that that's being ungrateful. You check me? When somebody does something like that, I mean, hey, and I guess now the fish does rotten from the head because, I mean, you look at a person like Rosie. See the kind of a work Rosie do. See the kind of a vibes the boy put in there. I doesn't hear the man birthday celebrating. I doesn't hear his death commemorating. I doesn't hear nothing. It's like the boy never exists as if he never do. And I mean, check the kind of a book. When the man go penniless. The man wasn't caring about, see the amount of man that gone study. Even your good partner, Marshall, was like, no, don't send them Cuba, don't send them Cuba. And see, most of those guys that in position, right, is what Ruzi did. And there have a couple other guys that did exactly what people like Wilshire. You watch Wilshire now and the chicken boy, you know. That's why, you know, we need to pass on the vibes. So that's what all the Bouyon movement is about. You know? It's not just about a man jumping on stage, take the wood and make a cheer or whatever. You check? It's more than that. Yeah. It's more than that. Yeah. It's the education, it's the awareness, it's the consciousness. You know, because we have to leave something positive, something tangible for the youths coming out so they, in turn, can pass on to the next set of youths coming up.
Yeah, no, you're right. And let me just say quickly, I love to want to comment, but let me just say quickly, as you mentioned, Rosie, yesterday again in St. Lucia, yesterday, the 19th, was considered National Hero Day. They do that in St. Lucia, National Hero Day. And they were celebrating the 40th anniversary on the death of Maurice Bishop. And they had a big celebration, you know, big celebration going on.
Yeah.
On observing his role he play and all of that. They call it National Hero Day in St. Lucia. Okay. So you are so right. But I know we are coming to an end just now. And before we close, I want for us to end on a positive note in terms of where do we see it going? Because I know now we have what is called Bouyon Day. It's celebrated on the Tuesday prior to Carnival Monday. That's correct. I think that came about a couple years ago.
Right.
What was the genesis of that quickly? And where do you see us? Because like you say, we're on a mission. We have to merge. And I see maybe it's already beginning to happen because last week on our program, we played a clip with, what's his artist name? This Bouyon guy, this guy.
Ridge it is?
Ridge, yeah. Ridge and Midnight Groovers, Chubby.
Yeah.
Ridge and Chubby did a collab. Which sounded good. That's a start. So how do we move forward? Moving forward, I guess might be what you might want to focus on. But Lofty, if you want to come in and then Rock will just respond to that.
All right. Well, yes, Alvin, it's 5 minutes to the hour of 8 o'clock. The conversation is very, very
my bad. I'm sorry, it's Grenada, not St. Lucia. Let me carry
Grenada. Yes.
Grenada. Thank you for that, German St. Lucia. Grenada, not St. Lucia.
Yeah, I was just going to point out that Grenada aspect to you. But Ra, just before you close, before you answer Alvin 2 points that he raised, I want to ask you basically to go back to where we started. The impact of Bouyon on the whole cultural heritage, whatever it is, celebrations in Dominica around those times. You are pioneering that field. What is the impact that have created on our cultural celebrations, the Bouyon music in particular, as we wind down?
When you see Bouyon music in itself, you could see the impact not only in Dominica right now, you know, because right now we're exporting Bouyon rapping. Some people talking about Miami Carnival and how Bouyon music does dominating. Well, Bouyon music dominating two major beats it have right now. That dominating right now is Afro beats and Bouyon music. Like it or not, that's what's happening there. And I know man was complaining, them Jamaicans was boring and stuff like that, but no, Bouyon, Afrobeats is an African thing. And if you check now, the whole concept of Bouyon is almost like the same kind of a concept where they use in Afrobeat. So we were a little ahead of the game, but I don't think some people were sharing the vision with the person that had the vision. You check me? And that in itself caused a problem. But you could see the impact. Oh boy, you getting tired, doctor? But you could see the impact that it has on the Dominican economy. Right now, we have people wanting to forget about Trinidad Carnival and come and experience our carnival. So now we have to be very careful how we manage that, because they're coming to see us. And whereas in the Creole Festival right now, when I bounce in from one place to the other, the Creole Festival, you see what happening is like Dominicans going to see them. But as we know it growing up there, independence time, our patriotic time, is people coming to see us, to experience us.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
Come
It should be
how we dress,
us.
come and see how we behave, see how we dancing and how we enjoying our rhythm and stuff like that. And
Our music, our bands, yeah.
And participate. But right now, those people at the so-called head, they lose direction. You know, they say people without a vision.
Yes.
Vision will perish.
Yes.
And you see what happening there. Right now, you're having a whole set of imports, right? People importing, and we don't have a problem with that because we do travel. But now, the majority of the money not staying in exporting, because now you're pressing the Dominican bands. You get them want to give them little peanuts and giving who it may be. We don't worry about it because that's your contract that they make, and we respect that. The demand say you want a golden towel, you know, with gold dust falling on there, and you want golden toilet water when you flush and stuff like that. That's what, and you agree. You want 10 Hennessy and you want a thing and you want a thing for his dog and something for his cat, whatever. That is the thing, you agree, no problem. That is his contract, okay? And you agree and you decide you give him that money. But no, we must remember, we, the guys here, right? We are the ones going to the market. We support the fishermen. We support the farmers. You check? We support the local stores. So it seems like we're losing the whole vibe, the economic value. You check, and how the money is supposed to distribute among us, right? They say, right, when a dollar go in the Jewish community, it revolves how much times? 18 times or how much times?
Yep.
Right? When it reach in the black community, no, zero. So that means no, we have to address those kind of a things, see how money going. I mean, see how people flocking in, see what people coming to for the Creole Festival for. It's about Bouyon music, you know. Yes, it have cadence, yes, we love cadence, is our thing. It have compa, yes, and all the kind of other kind of reggae, which we seen all the time. Everybody's seen reggae all about. They seen whatever. But no, we have people like the people from Guadeloupe and the people from Martinique. They are one of the main supporters. Do we support them? Do we bring them in? We have Lucia. Do we support them? You know what I mean? Because now they helping. So we have to understand and balance the economic thing, because the majority of that dollar power when it comes to the exact, you know, because they see it have other things when people spending money in the store and all right, fine. We know about that kind of a thing. But no, when the people that contract the artists, when you pay them kind of a big money there, do we spend that kind of a sizable sum on our local artists? See the amount of savings that you do. You don't have to pay no airline ticket. Savings. You are not going to pay no hotel. Savings. You are not pay no food. Savings. You are not pay no ground transportation. Savings. You are not to pay no per diem. Savings. And the list goes on and savings, right? That alone is more than enough, right? To pay the artists that you have there, giving them little peanuts and so on, and even refusing to put them on. You check, the people come to see us. We didn't come to see them. So it's the same kind of a thing. We have things do over there in Dominica. You check in the right shoe, kind of a syndrome. You check me. The tail wagging the dog.
That's a very powerful point you make there, you know, Ram.
Yeah.
The idea is for people to come to see what we have and for us to perform for them, not the other way wrong. For
and to
us
export.
to bringing people for us to see. They must come and see us.
They have to come and see us, not
Yes.
we. If we want to see them, we can go and see them.
Right, right.
It's just like some artists that go to America and they performing and they perform all other band things. You see, but look the band over there. If we want to hear them, man, they will go over there and watch them, man. We want to hear what you have. Give us what you have.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why it is. No, we have to represent ourselves. So that is the kind of economic impact. You check, and you had another point there. You're talking about where we seen the Bouyon music going. You know, I as I said already, though, people can only bring in what they have inside. So we want to make sure that we restock them with some positive vibes. You know, pass on the positive vibes as much as we can. Just like you was asking Gregory a while ago there, you know, you have so much kind of a thing there. You have to be able to pass on, document and pass on the information. So we in the process, because I work in my youth man there, they have a band called Inner Core Unit. I work with it, you know, no one then I'll do one to track them, but I let them do their stuff. You know, he doing his thing. He's a producer, you know, engineer, a keyboard player. You check. He's the leader of the band and stuff like that. So I know assisting. So they are coming in bit by bit, you know, but I check into myself now. If you're not giving that little band a chance, how do you expect them to grow?
True.
It's just like how they stifling the agriculture there, and when a little money come there, fellas, you know, everybody's a farmer now.
True.
Everybody's a farmer. When the money come for fisherman, everybody's a fisherman. When the money come for housing, everybody's a carpenter. We see the situation there after the hurricane, you know. They get rid of the GSP program. We could hardly find a carpenter. We could hardly find a mason. We could or they not been employed or they don't been paid.
Right.
You check it?
Right.
I remember after the Hurricane David, which is how many years, how much people didn't born yet. All right, fine. Martin Allen, my woodwork teacher, of course, my father isn't that kind of a trade too, is that he was teaching in PSS and a lot of different school, technical wing and all that. Come and get me there for us to go to the hospital to swing hammer and use saw and stuff like that, because we had basic knowledge of that. Do we have that? Everybody is a computer expert. So I guess we'll press a computer and it'll cut the wood for us.
But even look at, and I know we discussed in Bouyon, I mean, we may have to bring you back again, but look at Public Works Department. As a boy growing up, we had a Public Works Department. And you know the amount of guys that learn mechanical and all of this thing at Public Works Department under people like Loverty and all this girl, Webb, all these guys. That's where those guys learn something, you know, at Public Works Department. Learn how to maintain the equipment, use the equipment. And then we had a Public Works Department that would take care of our roads and everything around the country. Now we don't have a Public Works Department. And we take that work now and we give it to somebody else to do public works in the country. And Public Works Department was there for years and years. We grew up. So it's really pathetic when you see how these things have retrogressed.
Yeah, we could take that in a complete different forum and in a different circle, because now we are the ones suffering, you know. We hear, right? And we just seeing everything that's passing straight over our heads. So now in that reference now, in that context, we're talking about Bouyon music and the artists and stuff like that. But now it happened in so many different areas, you know. How many different pockets that it happening there? I mean, it's happening right there. Look, just the other day we had the truckers kind of stuff like that. Everything passing us straight. You know, nothing for us. It's like, as we said before, it's like we now going to watch people. Whereas people is coming to watch us. And there is where the money is supposed to be. The money is supposed to be staying with us. At least, if we're not getting 75%, at least let a 50% stay with us. Let it stay in our economy and our community, and let it circulate a little bit. Let the farmers get a liquor. Let the store get a liquor. Get the liquor person at something and coconut cheese and farming cocoa. Make a liquor something.
Right.
Let
Right.
everybody get a little taste, man.
Yeah.
So
The
be there
bouillon, make it, yeah.
eating everything, man, and you have as the machine mukan. We can be the machine mukan.
Yes.
That's not working.
Lofty, I guess we have to bring the curtain down in a while, but we definitely gonna have to bring Ra back, you know, because that seems to be just part one. We need a part two. Go ahead, Lofty.
Yeah, well, if once Ra consent, then we will have him back. But yes, we have to bring the curtain down in just a bit. A number of comments here from the live feed. Ra, you basically stole the light tonight in terms of the sport, and so a number of people are commending you, basically asking you to, you know, continue in the good work that you have done and continue to do for your country, Dominica. Ra, as we bring the program down to a wrap tonight, your final thoughts, your parting words that you want to, or guests here, to our people here following here, to remember based on the points that you want to drive home?
Well, I don't have no parting words and I don't have no last words. I just have some words of encouragement for us to, you know, stand up for what is right, you know, be a better person, be empathetic, you know, be the one to be our brothers and sisters keeper, you know, look for one another. Let's stand up for what is right and condemn what is wrong and be strong and firm. You know, we don't want to be bashing somebody, but let them know, you know, Lofty is my partner, but Lofty, you do something that wasn't right. I have to go and sit on the air and make a big hip hip hoorah. You know, I tell you, Lofty, guys, what you tell me, well, I do that just because I was vexed. And I say, no, man, even though you're vexed, you have to control your emotion. So let's get that thing under control and not to be afraid and call out when something is wrong. You check? Let's not be there to just support when something, just because we're benefiting and we're gaining and, you know, it's working in our interest. Let's work in a way that everybody benefits. And I like your background, you know, with the Malcolm X, you know, by any means necessary, we got to do what is right.
Yes, my brother.
Amen.
Yes, solid indeed.
Let Jah be your guide. Follow what is right each and every time. We give praise to the Most High for blessing us with this day and the days to come, and to bless our generation, that we definitely will give them something good to pass on to the next generation, which is the generation wealth.
Yeah. Sila. Right, indeed, you said something out of many things that you said tonight that basically stayed with me, and I just want to say it as we leave each other company tonight. You said Bouyon is not just music. Bouyon is Ra way of life. And so, yes, I concur fully with that. Thank you, my brother. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Ra. Thank you, Derek, man. Thank you.
All right.
Right.
All right, Alvin, final words, and then we're going to bring it to a wrap from your end.
Well, I think, Lofty, we had a very, very interesting, very informative, dynamic conversation today with both Gregory and Ra. I mean, both guests were phenomenal in their presentation, and there's so much more we can uncover. And like you, I like what Ra said about Bouyon music. It's not just a music where someone come and speaks through a mic. It's your way of life. It's storytelling. It's how you live, how you speak, how you walk, what you say. It encompasses everything, and that's why it's called Bouyon. It's all one together. So I think that is powerful. And I think he ended on a very good note, you know. We are celebrating 46 years of independence this next month, we said. And as I've said before in that program, we're quickly creeping to 50 years just now, half a century. And we need to look back. When we look back and say, well, we have come 50 years from now, 46, 47, 48 years from now, where have we been? What have we achieved? What have we achieved? And that, I think, is a question that we each have to ask ourselves. How far have we come as a nation, as a people, as a country? And as it relates to our culture, our way of life and everything. And I think that is the question we each have to seriously ask ourselves. And I think that is basically some of the areas that are raised. In terms of how are we being more kind to each other? Are we looking out for each other? Are we sharing the resources with everybody? Are we having people come see us demonstrate our culture? Is it the other way around? We're bringing people for us to see. I mean, like I said, I mean, I can go on and on myself, but we got to come to an end. So thank again to all the folks who are still there with us. Have a good week, a good Creole week starting off. And the best wishes and everything to our two guests. And we'll do it again next Sunday. Once God puts us here to do it, we'll continue doing the work of the Lord. All right? Take care. Have a good one, man.
Someone in all the cooks of the land. Chef Boise, Chef Bouyon, Chef Police, Chef Orchestre. We'll be serving the bouillon while it's hot and spicy.
All right, Dominicans, thank you very much for your eyes and ears. Those of you here, there, and everywhere. That is how we bring down the curtains on things here for yet another very interesting program. A big thank you to Gregory Rabes and brother Derek Peters. And all of you out there listening and locked on at this time. That's it, folks. That's it. See you guys, as our advertisement says here. See you guys next week Sunday, same time, same place. It's 15 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock. At least 15 minutes beyond our stoppage time, but you could well understand. So without further delay, thank you very much. See you guys. Bye-bye.
Right now, the bouillon is getting ready. We have one wicked rhythm, a bubbling bass line, keyboard and guitar. Here we go. Dominica. Holy put it, get too long, get too long, get too long. Holy put it, get too long, all that. Soupy, take it out again, out again, out again. Soupy, take it out again. We all love now. Here we go. Too many cooks waiting for you.